Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship, yet another video. Yes, so basically tonight I'm going to talk about a word that pops up an awful lot and something which I'm very grateful for. It kind of suggests to me that the whole reason why I do the videos is coming across in a way that I was hoping it would, and something I'm still working on. And I just want to say thank you before I start, really, to all the subscribers, those that are hitting that button. It means an awful lot, and the likes and the comments, it's fantastic. Thank you very much for doing that. And back to the subject of simplicity is a word that keeps coming up, and I appreciate the fact that some of you are saying that aspect of the videos is what you enjoy, the simplicity side of it. A lot of reason, I guess, behind why I do the videos is basically because of the journey I took. So it's a kind of self-exploration, if you like, for me, because it does bring back memories of the early days, I guess, when I became aware of purpose, I guess you would say. I became aware of the energy side of things that surrounded me as a child, that I was fortunate enough to see, not only in human form, if you like, also in animal form. And those of you that have probably watched some of my other videos sort of understand why I mentioned those aspects of growing up, because it was something that obviously I guess not everybody experiences, and I was lucky enough to have that happen to me. So it's not something you kind of grow into. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I think it's something that's just ingrained within self. I think it's ingrained in everybody, but I do believe there are a number of us that have a purpose. I think we all have purpose, but this particular purpose, I think it's ingrained in us from birth, really, and maybe beyond that. And we are here to shed some light on what can be sometimes quite a dark and dismal world. Sorry to feel a bit, or sound a bit negative, but that's how it seems at times, and it can be very difficult knowing what you know or what you understand, and trying to portray that, I should say, outwardly into an awful lot of negativity that surrounds us. So, and obviously that is purpose, because our being positive, our light, can mean an awful lot to a lot of people, and if we can emanate a lot of that into this world, then obviously it's going to make a difference. Doesn't matter how small, but at least it's a positive difference that means a lot to an awful lot of people. And as I've said before, mediumship is only a very small part of the picture. Obviously there's lots of bigger bits, if you like. We are just a very small part, and but all those little bits add up and make a difference, like I said. So yeah, simplicity. I obviously, like most of you, I guess, I had to go out there in the big wide world knowing something wasn't quite the same as what everybody else thought, I guess, or how everybody else lived. I found it quite difficult to obviously fit in, like I'm guessing a lot of you are probably in the same boat. And obviously the easiest way of dealing with that situation sometimes is to just shut yourself away from it and not walk into situations that you are uncomfortable in. The best thing to do, well, you think at the time the best thing to do is just walk around them rather than face them head on. And basically I think I learnt to just live by who I am, and obviously that takes a long time to actually do or to be able to achieve. And we are all kind of moulded in who everybody else wants us to be. We all act in the way that we're told to act, and unfortunately that does I guess really mess up a lot of people's minds, and it's not good, and it's a very difficult path to take. I've done a short video on Patreon just talking about that difficult path, the difficulty in life, I guess, or just carry on as normal in a everyday way when you're not comfortable with it and you feel that something is different about self compared to everybody else. And yeah, it can become a real struggle at times, but there are ways of dealing with that. And the best thing to do is be yourself, to be quite honest. And once you start talking about spiritual things to a lot of people, then some people will just walk away, and this is where you find out who your friends are, I guess. But there will be an awful lot, and more so now. There's more so, people have got a really keen interest in what we do, not only the mediumship side of things, but in the spiritual side of things. And people have a keen interest in not only mediumship, but healing and all sorts of different sides of a light worker's work. So there's a lot of interest in it, which is great to hear and see. And as I mentioned, I think in my other video, you'll gain friends and you'll lose friends, but hey ho, that's how it is. You've got to be who you are, and because who you are is the whole purpose of things, really. You cannot fulfill your purpose if you hide away behind closed doors, so that's not the answer. It's important that you're out there, you're doing what you do, and as long as we're all respectful of each other's opinions, then everything should be hunky-dory. But anyway, yes, we'll go back to, here's me blabbing on, we'll go back to the simplicity side of things. Yes, the whole purpose really, why I decided to try and keep things as simple as I can, and I do go sometimes too deep, and I can go an awful lot deeper, but that would go against the whole purpose of why I'm doing these videos. And when we look at what we're trying to achieve as mediums, it's important that we have that simple foundation to work from, because we can, as I've said before, we can read 100 books and we will get different opinions, and basically that's all a book is. It's somebody's perception of how they think things will work, and how you should work, and what you need to do to make it work, basically. And I found early on that it's not something that is set in stone at all, because we are all individual personalities. So it's important that we have that simple foundation to work from, but within that foundation it's important that there is that element of self, because it's that element of self that is doing the job. It is your personality, it is your energy, your consciousness, your spirit that is doing the work. So if you have no idea of that, and if you are completely brainwashed by another medium's methods, then you are going to struggle and struggle with progressing along this path. You need to be at one with self and at one with the energy that you are working with. There's only one way of doing that, and that is to be self with spirit regularly by sitting in that silence. It sounds like it can be laborious, and it sounds like it can be boring in the sense that I can sit there for weeks on end and nothing happens. Yes, that's true, but it depends how much you want to dedicate to building that relationship with the energies that surround you. We all have to start somewhere, and that's why I say the best starting point is to get to know yourself first. So, understand the spirit side of who you are. So once you've got a grasp of that, then you know what or where that tool is, where you can expand that tool from and use it to communicate. So there's nothing better than when you sit in that silence, you are at one with self. You have no outside influences, there's nothing disturbing you, and as hard as you try sometimes not to think about what happened that day or what's going to happen or what you've got to do tomorrow, then that's probably one of the hardest bits. But once you just learn to let that go, and it's a thought flowing through your mind, just let it go, and you will get used to doing that. Once you've got to that point where you can let the energy just flow through you without grasping it or thinking about it or letting the mind kick in, then you are well away really. That is a really good start. So sit in the silence and just be self, and just allow that peace and energy from within just emanate from you, because that's what spirit sees. Okay, they don't see you sat in a chair. They don't say, "Oh, don't think much to his decorating" or anything like that. They do not see that. What they see is that light and energy that you emanate. That is their communication line. That's what it's like, a flag in a sense. Once they see that energy there, once they see that light from self emanating, they will then merge with it and they will grasp onto it. It's same as like a thought. That thought is energy that is emanated from you, from self, and that thought is picked up upon. Same as prayer. I mean, you can pray silently, you can pray loudly, depending on how you feel on the day, I guess, but at the end of the day, it's a vibration. Your words are vibration, energy, your thoughts are vibration and energy, and this is what spirit energy picks up on. So as long as you dedicate yourself to that time of sitting in that silence and that peace, then things will start to work for you. And once you start to sense, see, or even hear the energies that are around you, then you are opening up that line of communication. You can then send thought out or even speak out loudly, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you can start that line of communication going. You can start to get that to flow. And one of the questions, or one of the comments, I think today or yesterday, from a subscriber was, well, I can do that, but now what? I sense spirit, what do I do now? Well, the same as what you would do in a way when you meet a friend or somebody in the street. You start that line of communication. So you need to start, if you want to start, maybe put one question to them. Ask them what they think your purpose is as a light worker. Mediumship, maybe healing, and you will get a response. You will get maybe a symbol, and maybe you may ask that question a number of times over a week or two, and that symbol, that answer, in whatever way, shape or form, will come to you. And it can happen in the strangest of ways, and sometimes it can happen in everyday life. And I've had it happen to me where I've often wondered, well, should I be doing demonstrations? Should I be doing one-to-one? Should I be teaching? Should I be healing? What should I be doing? And I can remember having this really strange pull towards a bookshop one day in a city not far from here. I'm not one for books, and although I do like reading a lot on like the American Indian side of spirituality, I'm interested in that. Some of the Indian philosophy I read, I like to read about that too. But I'm not someone who would go out for the day to go and buy a book. And I got this pull to go in this bookshop, and I thought, I don't know, I followed it. I just followed the gut feeling that I needed to go in this bookshop. And I literally walked up to a section of books, and this red, I can remember it now because it was so strange the way it happened. I saw this red book just stood out to me, and it was obviously second hand, and I literally pulled it out, turned it over and looked at it, and I'm trying to think of the name of it now. I think it was Spirit to Spirit, something like that, I'm not sure now. But when I opened it, it was an old book, and when I opened it, it had some writing in, and it was actually come out of a library, obviously from some sanctuary somewhere, some spirit sanctuary somewhere, and it was there in my hand, and I thought, how odd. And it was linked to a church, I believe, a spiritualist church somewhere. I'll have to try and dig it out, and I'll let you know. But there you are. That's how it happened. So that wasn't the beginning of it all. It's just when I was just questioning. I think it just one day I happened to think, well, what should I do? Will I work with this? I've obviously know it's there. I know it exists. I understand it. And lo and behold, that just literally fell in my hand. Really, I walked in there straight to where it was, and there and this old red book. So don't expect things to be plain and simple. Okay, you will look at them through the human mind and expect things to happen in a human way, and that is not necessarily the case. They will happen how they will happen, and when the time is right. So never punish yourself and think you're doing something wrong. You are not. If it's within you to work in a certain way and you feel comfortable with it, keep working with it. Don't give up. Because if it's in you, it's right. Not what's in a book, not what somebody's trying to drum into you. That may well be right for them. Okay, there's me blabbing on at you, but I don't want you to accept everything I say or do everything I say do. What I want is for you to sit with spirit and learn from them. But do it how you feel it's right to do it. So that will help you no end. That probably cost me 10 to 20 years of not getting clear messages, clear clarification. And I would say that a lot of information that came through when I was doing readings, I mean, I could give names, etc., without problem, but holding on to that communication sometimes was a bit of a struggle, because the first thing I used to do was, the minute you got information that was absolutely astounding, would be let go of that link. Because, oh my God, and you sit down, how did you know that? And I'd let go. So then I'd have to start. It's all sorts of things that just, because I wasn't being self and I was trying to work in a way that everybody else worked, it caused me problems because I wasn't being myself. So whatever works for you, keep working at it. Okay? Don't be pulled into shadowing someone else. Just be yourself. Mediumship, and this is going to sound, I guess not good really, but mediumship is simple. It's only, like everything else man tends to do, is to complicate things. Because I think he tries sometimes maybe to put himself on a pedestal and become the great I am. We are all equal, so nobody deserves that, the great I am, in my eyes anyway. We are all the same. We are all energy. We are at different stages of progress, if you like. We're all on the same journey. There's no doubt about that. And we'll all end up in the same place. There's no doubt about that. But how we do it has to be a personal experience. Otherwise it is absolutely pointless. So I did a small bit of writing, I think, a while back. And it was about walking through a door. And if you walk through a door, I'm going to have to try and remember this now. I'll do my best. I'll have to pull it up and post it somewhere. But it was about walking through a door. And if it says the door's open and you walk the path of another, then there's no... It is a pointless exercise. There's nothing to learn. You're simply walking in someone else's footsteps. But if you find the door that's closed, and the key to opening that door is realization that this is your life, this is self, this is for you, this is your journey, your pathway. That's the key to opening that door. Once you realize that, and you open that door, and you journey along a pathway that's not been walked before, because this is your pathway, your journey, you will learn so much more. So I will have to find that. It's somewhere amongst a pile of writing. I'll have to try and find it. It will probably explain it a lot simpler for you to read it than me trying to describe what it was trying to say. But anyway, yeah, mediumship is a natural, simple, not exercise, but not gift, because it's not something we are given. Okay, it is something that is within all of us, but it is simply learned by finding self, using that tool of self, that energy that's within you, to merge with the energy that's around you. So a lot of people I can hear, not literally, but saying, well, how do I do that? How do I find self? I've done videos, the odd video talking about that, but it's truly understanding who you are. What do you like? Compare that to what you like, because you have to. Okay, and if your purpose is that of a light worker, then the chances are that your reasons behind what you like and what you don't like are probably very accurate. They're probably more accurate than somebody who has no idea about themselves and who just live their lives to fit in. So your purpose as a light worker is one that you should be proud of. Be proud of it. Okay, and it's important because you have purpose, that you use that purpose to shine your light out there, because this is what the world needs. People to be shining and to diminish the negativity that surrounds us. It's okay, we all jump on the hamster wheel and we run for however many years we decide to run for, or till the body wears itself out. But if we're running within that hamster wheel in the direction of everyone else and what they say you must do and how you must be, then what a pointless life, really, when you think about it. We need people, especially light workers, to be out there and shining that light. I don't mean we need to be out there preaching, because that would be totally wrong. But all we need to do is to shine our light as light workers, and that will be enough. By giving the odd message here and there for people that are in need, who need that closure. We can do so much with mediumship for somebody, like that spark, so they go on the road of discovery, their own little road of discovery, because they will question themselves once that message is given. Once they realise that their loved ones are still around them, still carry on, that life carries on, then obviously at that point, somebody who's never probably ever given it a thought, at that point they maybe start looking at self and living a better life for themselves. So it's so much that little message can do for someone. So anyway, I think that's enough blabbing for one evening. So yes, it is simple, and I'll try and keep it as simple as I can. And if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. My teaching, my guidance is simple, and I try and take away. It's not easy, but obviously with all, well, not all of you, because you're not all as old as what I am, but we have years and years of bombardment of, especially on mediumship side and the spiritual side, the religious side, we've had years of bombardment of things that don't sit right with us, but we accept them anyway because it's simpler, it's easier to do. And obviously that is so very wrong. We need to find our own way, obviously in a respectful way, in a loving way, in a caring way. But we still need to walk this journey, this path, how we feel is right to do so, not how we're told. And as a light worker, you already know how to do that. So in a way, I guess, in a nutshell, lead by example. So we go out there and we just shine our light, give those messages, and obviously with a big smile. So that's it for tonight, really. Like I said, any questions? I've got Patreons there still. I may have to close the books on that at some point, because obviously I only have so many hours in a day. I work full time, and obviously I like to do a bit of YouTube. Patreon's got very busy now. I've got lots of students from all around the world, which is fantastic, but obviously there's only so many hours in a day, and being around the world, the students, there's only, I can't work in the middle of the night because obviously there's time differences and things, but we managed to work it out somehow. And probably at the weekend, if there's a big time difference, I can get up bright and early and spend an hour with you. I love doing that. It's absolutely fantastic. Meet some great people, and there's some marvellous people, some fantastic ability, and it's just location where some are, where I guess we're lucky in the UK, and I think we're fairly lucky like in America, and maybe like in Australia, You know, mediumship's been around for a while, but there are countries out there which frowned upon, and these people, some of these people, and it is sad, are so gifted, and it's nice to talk to them, and it's fantastic for me. It's a big learning curve for me too. So I'll put a link to my Patreon at the bottom of the description on here. And like I said, please don't panic over this. If you're not getting anything, you've been sitting for weeks on end, believe me, it doesn't matter. Just sit, be patient, and even though you may not think much is happening, believe me, okay, that emergence is taking place. But don't expect, just sit. Don't expect things to happen. Just sit in that silence, because it will help you learn about self too. And again, you may think that I'm learning nothing, but believe me, you are wrong. So you are learning an awful lot. That piece will work its way through you and into your inner energies, into that spirit, into that soul, and you need it in the world. How busy we are. It's a very busy world, and sometimes you just need that 20 minutes, half an hour, just sitting in that silence. It'll do you the world of good. So enjoy that. So take care. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you very soon. Please like, please subscribe, and like I said, I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.